Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know, I always start my show off the same way, and this is how I live my life with gratitude, and some people say thankfulness. I am just so thankful to be alive. I am just filled with joy, abundance, prosperity, sex appeal, everything. I got it. And I'm thankful for it. Yeah. You need to celebrate yourself. You need to have self-worth, value, love you. You can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. Come on, look in that mirror and say, I love you. Hey, good looking. Hey, sexy. Give it a wink and say, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Don't just take it from the guys when they call you. You need to say it to yourself. So when the guys call you, you could say, I know that. Thanks, but I know. I have with me a handsome young man. Can you imagine how handsome he is? Oh my goodness. I tell you, I only attract, hey, it's what you attract, you know. You attract the right people into your life when you give up the right energy.
For sure.
Yes, for sure. For sure. You attract the right people, and I only attract handsome men and beautiful women on my show, people who know what they're talking about, who lived it, who are going through the journey or have been through, and they're here to share. His name is Linwood Jackson Jr. I mean, the man has a legacy. He's carrying on the Jackson legacy. All right.
Yeah, it's going strong.
It's going strong. Let me tell you a bit about him. So Linwood Jackson Jr. is an author writing on mental and spiritual health and on his life-altering benefits. He is someone who believes in the power of the Bible's words when sincerely exercised and studied. Let me repeat that. He believes in the power of the Bible's words when sincerely exercised and studied. It is not just to say it and look at it and see the words print on the paper. It's to actually apply it in your life. Through his books, speeches, and discourses, he encourages to think and feel for self, that self-love may bloom into self-possession through the knowledge acquired from experience. This, he says, betters a personal and devotional life, not only for the person, but also for everything else around them. Welcome, Linwood, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. You mentioned Trinidad. My family's from Barbados, so we got something going on there.
We got
a little bit of family.
Don't get it out there, Linwood. Don't let them know our secrets. They're gonna want to try and join the family now. No.
It's too tight though. They're gonna have to do something to get in. It's too tight.
That's right. It's too tight. So we have so much in common. So we need to connect. Barbados is about what? Probably about 20 minutes away from me on a plane ride. It's just an up and down movement. I mean, we are neighbors. Come on, Linwood. We got to get something going here. But we're not going to be...
I'm in the States. My family's back there.
But you need to come down here. You need to come down here.
I do need a trip.
It's cold where you are. It's warm down here.
Oh, you're just going to... Okay, I see. Even though you're right, it still hurts a little bit. Even though you're right.
Yeah, you know, I tend to do that to my friends in the cold countries, or, you know, places that's cold. I'm like, hey, I'm always in my shorts and my spaghetti strap. What are you wearing? And they'll be like, Corinne, please. I can't even see green outside. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Really?
But you know what? There's a beauty to it all, you know, because the seasons, they come and go. It's almost like a season of resurrection.
Yeah, it is. And I like how you said that. Everything is a season. Everything is a season. Comes and goes. Nothing is staying permanent in your life. Comes and goes. Yeah? So today we're speaking about habits. And let me just look back here. Habits of mind, your mindset, to long-lasting inward peace. A lot of people, Linwood, including myself. So when I say these things and when I'm talking to my guests on the show, I speak to myself. And I learn a lot from you guys. We go through, our mind is a powerful thing. I'm sure people have heard that phrase many times over and have said it themselves. It is so powerful, it can turn against you and make you feel like you're living in hell right here on this earth. It will self-torture you. It will bring back things from your past that you probably even forgot or put to rest, as you may think. And it will haunt you over and over to make you feel shame, guilt, hurt, pain. And you go back over those same emotions over and over again. The habit of the mind, that whole, as we call it, monkey chatter, the self-limiting beliefs, all those thoughts to make you feel bad in this current moment, January 12th, 2020. Tell us, how can we overcome those habits of the mind to be able to live a life of peace and joy in 2020 and beyond?
Well, you actually touched on it just now when you mentioned the thoughts that keep returning and that don't stop. It just keeps continuing to torture us. You actually said it for the first point that I would say for a good life of peace is what the Bible says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 30, which is, a sound heart is the life of the flesh. And the peace of the heart, peace that comes within the heart, there's a routine for it, because it's just not enough to say, have peace and just go. Like, we may read those words in the Bible, but the Bible is written in a sort of perspective of a figurative, illustrative, kind of authorship. So when the Bible is being written, it's not like the words, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's principles that the Bible gives all throughout its book. And I would say the prime principle is peace in heart through what Paul says in the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2, transforming your mind to prove those words that are in the Bible. My perspective, it's coming from the Bible. It's coming from putting the practices of the Bible into play. So for me, my peace is from that book's counsels and that book's advice. And so daily and consistently putting those words into play, that has an effect, just as you were mentioning, on our thoughts and on our thought pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Because all we have are us and our own thoughts. But when we can have something that's greater and higher than what is in us and that what is of us, combating with those thoughts that we have,
Mm-hmm.
when we consistently let those words deal with the thoughts that we have, and we go through that pain, when we actually, we were saying before we came on, get lost in those words.
Mm-hmm.
Get lost in those words and let those words actually hurt. There's peace that comes from that, because there's a memory that's formed of what's right, what's for us, what's not right, what's decent and what's indecent, and that transforms itself into knowledge that we can use practically every single day.
You're sharing some significant things. I'm listening to you intently. And it's just as how I would deal with my own, the monkey chatter and the self-torture when it comes back at me. First to begin, I'm an aware person, quite conscious. So should it come back to me, I talk back to it. People might think it sounds crazy. I really don't care. But you have to talk back to it. Literally, you speak to it. And you say, stop. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. It's okay. I hear you. And you have that conversation. Ask it, why is it coming back to you? Why, allow, I heard you said, allow the words from the Bible or whatever the feeling or the picture, the images or the experience that may come back to you. Ask it, why is it coming back to you? What is it that is still unresolved within you? That it is resurfacing again, because the fact that it's resurfacing means to say it's not healed, it's not resolved.
Exactly.
It is still triggering you in some way or form, and you need to make peace with it. Some sort of forgiveness, forgive yourself, forgive it, forgive persons, forgive the situation. You have to make peace with it and allow the feelings that you're feeling to work through you. If you resist, which is probably why it's resurfacing, if you resist and you try to avoid it, shove it under the rug, sweep it, whatever, it is going to come back. It keeps coming back.
7 times stronger.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're saying. You're like, there's two there's two in us. We are ourselves, and then there are our thoughts.
Mm.
Everything that we go through, everything that we experience, and everything, we have to find out who we are, not what our thoughts are. So what you're saying is absolutely on point, because you have to talk to you.
It
And
sounds crazy. It
it
sounds crazy.
because it's that nature. We're as lovely as we are created,
Mm.
we are also created with a negative aspect.
Oh yeah.
And that negative aspect is our human being.
Yeah.
Our human being is untrained. There is no sense in the nature that is within our human being. It has to be trained.
Wow.
And if it's not trained, we're going to devour ourselves. Just as you said, life's going to become hell. And the the main thing that I try to put into play, and I try to get across to everyone, is that life experience is knowledge. And that knowledge is what reduces the level of stress our human being has to deal with on a daily basis, because we can put it in check.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Linwood Jackson Jr., have you always lived your life this way on a spiritual path? Was there a Linwood Jackson Jr. before before this Linwood Jackson Jr. I'm speaking to today? And what was that catalyst that made you become more spiritually aligned to take this path? What was it?
It was the fact of me going through 21 years of an educational system that didn't teach me self-worth and self-value, to where I got to the point where I was 21 and looking for something that I could picture as myself, that I could see as me. And I
Mhm.
ended up falling in love with the gym and with exercising. But I ended up abusing the gym and abusing exercising, because I felt like that was a good form of punishment for my ignorance, for being stupid in the decisions I made and not making my own decisions in life. So that the abuse that I did, I ended up taking supplements, for the whole body growth change, and I got into natural bodybuilding. And right when I was actually going to do a show, that's how developed I got. I ended up in the hospital. I damaged a nerve in my brain that infects, or that aggravates the organs, the heart, the lungs, intestines, colon, everything. So just sitting in the hospital bed, just wondering why I put myself through that, and it was because there was no knowledge of love inside of me.
Wow.
So that's how it all began. And as I studied the Bible, I documented my experiences, and that became my first book, Perfecting and Reforming Personal Religion.
Mhm.
And as I went through that experience and writing and studying, then I began to see there's the kind of like disparity in the religion of the Bible and in the religion of Christianity. And then I began to see, the difference in theology and the difference in the Bible spiritual understanding. That led me onto another path of trying to make, people not just aware of their inward health, but the inward health as taught by the Bible and
Mhm.
as taught by the philosophy of the Bible, to kind of step away, well, not kind of, definitely step away from your environment, what you think you know, what you think you are, step away from it, to actually digest those words in the book, so that you can become a written book yourself personally, not scripted by any pastor or minister, present or ancient,
Mhm.
but by the words and by the mind that is in the Bible.
There are a couple of things you're saying there. You're talking about a diet. I saw it mentioned in the information you sent me, a spiritual diet, because your background is health, coming from, the gym and doing all those bodybuilding things and pushing yourself to the limit.
Hmm.
And you're suggesting a spiritual health, because once your spiritual health is intact, everything else is going to fall into place. I can tell you that
For sure.
for sure. There is no doubt in my mind.
I mean, it's just the truth. That's
It's just
just
the truth. Because
we're naturally spiritually beings.
yeah,
Spiritual beings.
that's what we are. We are spiritual beings. This is just a borrowed frame. that we came in to take form in on this earth. But when we die and this disintegrates, you're still out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're still out there. And once you decide to take on a spiritual diet, I can tell you from experience that your physical diet changes.
It will change
You know,
because
and
then you're
go
not
ahead.
living to gratify you. You're living
No,
to gratify your mind.
yeah, my body started to reject things
Yep.
for a period of time. Meat, I just can't. I used to be a big consumer of meat when I was younger. I mean, my mother had the leg had
Yep.
to be in my plate. Hello, plate. The leg, the chicken leg is Koreans. Everybody knows that in the house, right? That is what it was. Meat upon meat, ham. You see, like how Christmas just went by. Ham, turkey. I mean, you name it. I was having it. This Christmas, I had no meat. And everybody's like watching me like I'm crazy. I'm like, yes, I'm quite good. you know. I
No,
said,
you're not crazy.
no, I'm not. I'm actually quite more sane than you. You know.
And and there's a secret to that too, because when we eat meat, our body is able to digest the meat, but the thing is that it takes a lot of energy for our intestines to
To
digest meat.
digest it.
And
Yes.
so and so that affects brain power. Our brain has to send energy to our organs to help it digest, and that can inhibit our abilities to think and to feel. So that's another key aspect of a
Yeah.
healthy and happy mind, is keeping the brain happy and healthy so that the spirit of the mind can be happy and healthy. Meat just deteriorates the
Of
energy that
course.
we have in.
It makes you sluggish. And when I tell people, I said, my body just rejects certain things. I
Mhm.
don't eat meat. I cannot have milk. Well, I've been off milk for many years, dairy. I would do like almond milk or coconut milk. I love coconut milk. I cannot eat nuts. I cannot drink orange juice. I'm not into chocolate. When I tell people that, they're like, what? Half of your life is gone. What are you going to eat? I'm like,
They don't know. They don't
yeah,
know. They
I
just
can't.
don't know.
And they start to say, I can't take you out. I can't take you out, Corinne. I'm like, why not? There are so many other things there. There are vegetables. I said, I go green. Anything green, I am eating. All vegetables, raw, cooked, stir fry, I am eating it. I am good. Peas, beans. I'm like, what? What do you mean you cannot take me out? There's food there. It's like if there's no.
That's because the normal diet, it's an unthinking diet. When
Yeah,
you're living for the mind and body, it's a critical thing.
yeah. And it just starts rejecting. And as I go along on this path, my body will tell me, like I was saying to a friend, I said, I will have food. And my body will say to me, it's time to stop eating now.
Mm,
Stop. Stop eating. Don't have any more. And other persons may be gluttonous. They will eat because the plate is there with the food. They will just eat it because I'm like, no. Once my body says you're satisfied, the hunger is gone, stop eating. I cannot go any further. I will start to feel nauseous.
mm.
And there may be other things that I may want to eat that my body will say, or my spirit will say, don't have it. And I just can't. Just don't have it. And I don't make it a bother, Linwood, because I've done this before. It's not like I haven't had meat before or I haven't had those things
Exactly.
because it's like I'm missing
You're
or I'm
missing
gonna just
nothing. You just know you're missing nothing.
I'm missing nothing. And everybody's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not eating that? I'm like, no. Or they'll be like, oh, remember Corinne cannot have meat. What are we going to give her to eat? I'm like,
I know exactly how you feel. Where are
yeah,
we gonna take you out? We can't take you nowhere.
we're going to take you nowhere.
There's so many things we can do and
There's so
go.
many things we can do. I'm like, right? I'm not a juice drinker. I'm a water drinker because I
Wow.
have to put water into my body. Water, water, water. I never go without water. They'd be like, oh my God, I will drink wine because wine is good for the body. So I will drink wine, like red wine or white wine. Not a lot, but I will consume it, occasionally. So, I watch everything. I see how the food is prepared. I will ask, how is that? What is in there? And they'll be like,
Oh,
Oh
you
my God.
killing them.
Yeah. I need to know what you're putting there. I need to
Killing
make sure there's
'em.
no nuts, there's no dairy, there's no milk. That's because, hey, I could get sick. I can't. No, I need to know. So my friends are like, oh my God, we can't take you out. But it is part of the journey. And I can tell you, I live a healthier life. A lot of things that people may be suffering from, I don't have, thank God. And it's a choice. We all make a choice. Just like how when you went through what you went through, you made a choice. You could have decided, look, I'm going to come out of this hospital and still continue pushing my body to the limit. This is what I want to do. It's me. It's whatever. And decide this is what you want to do. But you realize that you were putting yourself at risk. And it takes sometimes a drastic, cataclysmic situation for us to turn to what we are running from all our lives.
And it's true. What I was kind of running from was me. Like quite literally, like discovering me and the industry I'm born to fulfill. And through that experience,
Mhm.
here I am, letting other people know that are in probably worse situations than me. You can love yourself and you can do better than your environment, because environment is a trap. Culture and environment is a trap.
It is.
And
It is.
you can believe everything that you are just from your environment and culture until you actually step out of that and just think.
Yeah. You know
And
what
that's
I say? You know what I say, Linwood? If you
mm-hmm,
are stripped of everything, because when you ask people, who are you really? They don't know.
mm-hmm,
They don't know. I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, I'm a this. They define themselves by the roles, the titles, the status, the car, the house, whatever. If you're stripped of everything, who are you really?
mm-hmm.
That is some deep thing there. People need to go back to the basics. And I see people running down so many things externally, running down love out of neediness, not realizing, why am I running down this person? There is something lacking. There is something lacking in you that you feel this other person could provide for you. Why? Why isn't it enough for you to seek that within yourself? Why aren't you enough?
Exactly. That's where it even starts. Talk about love. I can't even communicate with you as freely as I am if I don't love me first.
Yeah.
I can't do anything if I don't have any kind of benevolence toward not just my physical self, but my mental self and my inward self. And
That
that's kind of where it all begins. Everything else is just a distraction
Of
from
course, I
who
love
we
that. Everything else is a distraction, Linwood. I love that.
are.
It's a distraction, and we need to be aware. There are so many walking deads around here, Linwood.
You're wrong for that one, but it's just it's I believe it's a choice. It's a
Yeah.
to walk in that sort of zombie like state, because
Wow.
I don't
What do you
understand.
get? What do you get? I mean, I probably was there at some point. I mean, I,
Mhm.
I don't want to lie. We were all there at some point.
Of course.
Yeah. But my God, I feel so much better the way I am now
Hmm.
than the zombie state, the kind of Michael Jackson thriller thing. I really, no, it just doesn't work. You're just
It,
totally unconscious, going
hmm.
along with what everybody's saying, being pulled in this direction, that direction. This one wants you to be this, that one, the job wants you this way, the husband, the wife, the mother, oh my goodness.
And that's what was killing me, because no matter where you go, there's a society, whether it begins in your house or parents just give their children over to the educational system
Mm-hmm.
and enforce that society of the government's education onto them to transform them into the citizen that
Citizens.
they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And blocking out self-worth and self-value from that education. And that's not even, so many homes are now being replaced, self-worth is being replaced by little gadgets that children are getting
Don't
and
go
put
there, Linwood. Don't go there. That's a topic for another. No, no. That's a
I'm
conversation.
saying,
No,
I'm
no.
just saying, it's
No, no.
there's an age limit to alcohol and drinking, but there's no age limit to what can chemically imbalance a little child. It's just,
Don't go there. I am passionate about don't go there. I am passionate about this thing. I am talking to you. Me and you out, we're hanging with friends, chilling. We're supposed to be talking, but instead, people are on their phones texting each
oh,
other right there. I'm like, what?
kills me.
Oh,
It kills me.
what happened to conversation, Linwood? What
Kills
happened? What is going on?
kills me.
It's a new way of dating, Linwood. It's a new way of dumping, Linwood. It's a
but
new way of rejection, Linwood.
it's a, I don't have the answers.
Huh?
I don't have the, it just
Children
doesn't make sense.
are on their phones, they're what do you call it, tablets and all those stuff. They're not outside playing anymore. They don't even know what outside looks like.
It blows my mind.
How is that possible?
And from that perspective, and then I carry it over to the world that I write about, the world of religion. And from that same aspect, the little gadgets that little children have, the little gadgets, people that have faith that's developing, those little gadgets are priests and ministers that they take every word of. They take every word, they read every book.
Yeah.
But when you ask them what the words of the Bible say, they can't give you an answer.
Oh my God, it's
And
replacing God. It's
exactly.
replacing the word. It's replacing the truth. How would you know?
And that's my thing that I'm trying to get across, for that there's more than what the institutionalized person in a suit has to say.
It's a distraction. It's to move us away from realizing the truth, from knowing who we are, from aligning ourselves with the source.
So
Oh my word, we are losing a generation and generations and generations.
It's happening in the secular world, but it's happening in the religious world in its own kind of fashion too. So, and that's what I'm trying to speak on, and what I'm trying to get, people to just listen. There's more than to what the philosophy of a seminary trained person has to tell you. You are what matters.
Yeah.
Those words, even though it may be difficult to understand, even though it may be difficult to put into play, when we were little children, it was difficult to walk too, but we fell and we got right back up.
Yeah.
When we were born, the most difficult thing for us to do, the very first difficult thing for us to do, was to take that first breath out of our mother.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've spent the entire 9 months relying on somebody else's system of eating, breathing, whatever. And that first breath is the most trying time, because now we have to use these little things called lungs for the first time. And that's why the crying is so loud.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this, we are actually breathing in the womb. I find that whole system amazing. You're breathing in there in water. So you're like a fish with lungs.
Yep.
How is that? I am always amazed. I mean, God is so good. God is so good. To create a human being, to have another human being survive within water, and then you come out and you actually take in air, but you're not drowning in the womb. How is that possible? And your nostrils, I don't know, is it blocked up? I don't think so.
And just think the same thing. It's for us, even though we're not in the womb right now. You and others, just like me and others, we were in a, not a real womb of water, but we were drowning.
Yeah.
And now we're taking our first breaths and making that new step to newness of being in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell you, it's crazy. It's different out there. It's different.
It's different. And I mean, somebody listening to us or people listening to us may say, but hold on, we had TV nowadays. There was always a form of distraction. True. There was always a form of distraction, but you found that our form of entertainment was more outside, as opposed to the kids now. That distraction of the TV was, although it was black and white, yes, okay, and then it became colored. But now there's more and more distraction to pull you away from the family, from the interaction, human connection, building relationships, not even outside with friends. Your parents don't even know your friends.
It kills me. And then you factor into these other social media sites that all you're doing all day, you're looking at other people's lives, right?
Oh my.
We're looking at other people's lives and feeling some kind of way because it's not the kind of smile that you're having.
That's right. That's
It's,
right.
it's all trained to, desensitize us to who we are.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people that get paid to market the chemical imbalance that is in us when we get a thumbs up on something. A chemical releases in our brain that makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm.
The sound of a text message, a chemical releases in our
Oh,
brain
yeah.
that makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Like all of these things, they distract the chemicals that flow out of our brain. And also, we're just energy beings. It changes our energy.
What do we do, Linwood, to give ourselves a thumbs up? Instead instead of me waiting for you to give me a thumbs up or to send me a text for me to feel good. Should I send myself a text? I don't know. what do
Well,
what do we need to do?
I can tell you like how my God tells me.
Well, that's the only one I want to
Throughout,
hear. That's the
throughout,
only thing I want to hear.
throughout the entire Bible, the word rest is used.
Mm.
The living God is a God of rest. Now, that word broken down into the Hebrew language, that word rest in the English, it doesn't mean how we would take repose, sleep, lethargy, inactivity. That's not what rest is
Mm-hmm.
in the Hebrew language. In the Hebrew language, rest actually means acquiring knowledge. It means activity, mental activity. That is rest. Mental activity for knowledge. So the one thing that we can do is rest on his words.
Mm-hmm.
Take knowledge of his words piece by piece, point by point, not at a fast pace, at a reasonable pace, and
Mm-hmm.
apply those words that we learn when we're in his state of rest, in his state of acquiring understanding of his voice and of his language and of his context.
Mm-hmm.
Take that rest and carry it throughout the days of the week.
Yeah.
That's because we can only go as patient as we are. I have 21 years to re-educate.
Hmm.
There are some people listening to me that have 60 years to re-educate
Oh yeah.
themselves. They have 80 years to re-educate themselves. So when you're living in a life of a pattern for that long, you can't be impatient with yourself. You
No.
can't be upset with yourself. You're
No.
trying to re-educate a nature that you didn't put inside of you.
Hmm.
So it's kind of interesting, but to just go through day by day, letting the knowledge and the experience, every day is a new chapter. Like every day is a new life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's knowledge and there's experience every single day, every single new life. And to spend it properly in a state of, heart health, because as long as the heart is sound and is healthy mentally and practically, everything else will fall in line. We may not have what we want, we may not have what we think we do need, but it will all fall into place as long as our mind continues to stay healthy.
I love that. I want to switch over now to your website. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. Are you seeing that?
I am.
Yes. Start with your faith cultivation. And I just want to hinge on that, what you were saying a while ago. It's, if I were to break it down, you're saying just spend time with God. You want to say God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call him, it, her,
Mm-hmm.
spend time
With
and
those
just
words.
meditate. I do meditation, I do yoga, I just live in silence. I just love the silence. There are people I know who will never stay in silence because they hear voices, they're afraid. I've heard people say that. I'm like, I know what is happening to you. You're afraid, and I can. When I say that to individuals, you can see their face, their face and their whole aura too, because they know
Changes.
they are afraid of themselves. I say you are afraid of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You
We're
are
the
afraid of.
responsible.
Yeah, you are afraid of being with you. You're hearing voices. I love the silence. I absolutely love silence. I have no TV, no radio, no nothing.
That is true.
Yeah,
I told one of my friends I stopped watching TV maybe 10 years ago, and they were
yeah,
like,
I I don't know what the hell is going on outside of my door.
I stopped paying attention to it when I found out it was all scripted.
Of
Like the news.
course, of course. And I'm much happier than the people who are out there, because the first thing as I step out, you hear, did you hear the news this morning? Who murdered who? I'm like, really? I just got out of my bed and I'm out here smiling, and that's the first thing you want to tell me? Really? A woman in a taxi decided, I don't know the woman, I don't know the woman. She just decided, she's sitting down in the front seat, I'm in the back, and she decides she needs to show me a gruesome image. And turn it around to show me that image. I'm like, hello, lady. Thank you. I don't need, and I'm like to myself, really, this is what you wake up on a morning and come out in your day to do, to perpetuate and give oxygen to these things? How is that adding value to your life? Really?
It's a system of desensitizing, it's.
Oh my.
We're just prepped for desensitizing.
And it is believed that, Corinne, how would you know what's going on? I'm like, I will hear about it. I will know. If there's something for me to know, I will know. There's no doubt. Just like when the lady decides she wants to show me the gruesome picture. They will let me know. If a storm is coming, I will know. I will see the birds moving in a different direction. I will know. I'm not worried. I have food here in the fridge. I'm good. The supermarket is right there. I could get to it and come back. I'm good. And I cannot do anything about the storm. The storm will come, the storm will go. My focus is that sunlight will come back and things will start growing. I focus on that, not on the storm. So, I find myself being a happier person by eliminating radio, TV, and all these things, and other little things in my life. When you look at your life and you live in a conscious state as opposed to a walking zombie.
And that's kind of what it's about. We don't have a body just to have a body. There's a brain in this body that's supposed to guide the body. The body isn't supposed to guide the brain.
That's right.
And when you purge yourself from all of that, we are what we think.
Mm-hmm.
Or perspective and or reality, it's made up from our thoughts and our feelings.
That's right.
So it is no surprise that you're feeling more fantastic than anybody, because your reality is ascending in a way that's just descending with somebody else, because your reality is true.
I repel people. I would be around some people and they don't even come in my space, Linwood. They cannot come in my space. They are so intimidated. That's the word they use. They're intimidated by me. I'm like, really? Okay, good. You stay over there. I am not
feel the energy, the positive energy.
Yeah, I am not going to put myself in a lower frequency just to talk to you.
Oh,
no.
You said the perfect word.
I am not. You need to step up. I am not stepping down. That is just what it is. And I'm not compromising. In no way am I compromising. And I make no apologies for it either. It is what it is.
We're all born as our own government. Not to say like we are self or we are anything more than what we are. God has given us a government to regulate,
of course,
and especially by his counsels, because we do not have intelligence to regulate. At least I know I do not have the intelligence to regulate what is in me. And that's the key right there. Like, if you're living that way, you are living the dream. Like,
oh yes, oh yeah.
Like, that is the real prize of this life.
Oh yeah.
Self-possession, self-regulation for practical industry in a loving, giving way.
Oh yeah. I'm living it, and I'm encouraging others to do the same. So I use my gifts, my energy, what has been given to me by God, to help empower and inspire people. And this is why, I'm doing my show and having persons like you come on my show to help me to even spread the word as well. Mm-hmm. Because if it's just me alone, people might think, oh, well, it's just Corinne. But there are others.
Oh, there's a tribe out there. There's a tribe of us that
Yeah.
that know that we need help
Yeah.
in this present society globally.
Yeah.
And if I can do anything to put my, impression out there, just as you said, the legacy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because, we're all born and we all die, but it's not just, somebody was listening to me the other day, and, I never know how I sound when I speak because I'm just talking from my experience and I'm talking from the words that I get from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said to me the other day, do you know that some of the things you're saying, it's not really going to be impactful until after you die?
That's okay.
And I was like, what do you mean? They said, some of the things you say about the Bible and about religion, it's kind of revolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that its impact might, fall is after you die, you don't ever think about that. And I mean, I don't, but one of the things I think about is the impact that we have for future generations to help them live better. Because
That's right.
I know for me, as a 20-something-year-old getting close to 30, I don't really want anybody else as a 20-something-year-old getting close to 30 having to, as positive as it was for me, but to having to stop their life to check themselves
Mm-hmm.
when I've already gone through it, and I can put something into the universe
That's
in the
right.
form of writing and in the form of my speech to reach them
Yeah.
in a way that they can hear it, and at that time take more knowledge from it to lace the next generation.
That's right.
And that's, to me, that's what it's about. Like, right now it's fine. Right now, who knows who's hearing me, who isn't, who cares, who doesn't. But
Mm-hmm.
when I'm gone, it's about what lives on, just like you said. And it's the legacy of the words. And for me, nothing I say comes from me, even though I'm just a mouthpiece. Everything I say comes from the living God, his
That's right.
counsels.
That's right.
So it's not me that's living on. It's that book that lives on in an understandable way, that's not fermented by religious tradition and the philosophies of theology and all of this, that makes absolutely no sense for who we are as individuals.
Hmm. That
So,
is awesome. That is awesome. And that is what we are supposed to be, instruments
mm-hmm,
to carry out his will. I have your books here, which are also available on Amazon, I see.
mm-hmm.
Yes. So persons can come to your website, as they can see here, to check you
You
out.
can you can even click any one of those left-handed
Or the links on the
yeah,
side links. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Takes you to any kind of category you're looking for, and
So
whether
let's
it's self-help
help.
or
Yeah.
history.
Yeah, so you go to the books that are dealing with self-help. Yeah, if you want
Mm-hmm,
spiritual counsel or the diet, there we
mm-hmm.
go. You can check out these books, so you are connected, and it's pretty reasonable. Yes, a prayer for change, and it's an audio book. So if you're on the run, you're jogging, you're on the beach, you're driving to work, you have no
Yeah.
excuse.
Somebody who I didn't even know told me they bought the audiobook and they played it in their car,
Yeah,
because cars come with USB outlets, and I completely didn't think about that when I actually ordered it, and I was
yeah,
like, wow.
yeah. On your drive to work, which is where you spend a lot of time on the traffic, or
Yep.
standing in a line doing business instead of talking to people in the line, which is good. You can also have your headset on listening.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many hours in the day that people say, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the time. You wouldn't believe the amount of time you
This
waste
time.
doing other things. You waste a lot of time doing a lot of nonsense and being distracted. So we have to, 2020 is a year to start looking at where your time is being utilized, and if it's not being utilized efficiently and effectively, spend the time putting into you, self-love, pouring
And
into your mind, aligning
and
yourself with the word. Yeah.
you know what I've been telling people too, since it's 2020, they say that the best type of vision is 2020
Of
vision.
course, 2020
So
vision.
I've been telling people this is the year of clarity.
That's right. It is. It is. And I agree with you. 2020 is a year of clarity. Everything is crystal clear. And it's the beginning of a new decade. Come on, it's epic. Linwood, it's epic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's epic. It's been great having you on the show. We went over time, but that's okay. This is my show. I can do what I want. So
That's funny.
Yeah, I could do what I want. So that, right, there's nobody over my back to say, Corinne, it's time to cut the show. No, it's my show. I could do what I want. So we went over time and I'm not complaining. Linwood Jackson Jr., keep pushing. I am happy to see as a young man in your 20s doing what you're doing. I, would like to even say, I wouldn't want to think of what a 20-something-year-old may be doing right at this moment. Clearly it's not what you're doing.
I
But
hear you.
I would love to see more 20-somethings, even the teens, even before the teens, starting to reframe their mind in a way to allow God to work in them. It is, let me tell you something. When you just give him a little window, not a big window, just a slit in the window. All he wants is a crack, just a little crack, and that's it. That man is going to start doing things in your life. He don't want a big space. He said, just a little crack in the window. Just crack it. And before you know it, the whole window open.
It gets wide open.
Wide open.
My room is fresh right now.
Yeah. Right? I'm telling you, the joy. I could tell you this. I haven't said it to anybody. I woke up. I don't know if I woke up. I don't have to say it like that. But I was still asleep and awake because my mind is very active. And while coming to the morning, or in the morning, I don't even know Linwood, I'm hearing the song, I Know Who I Am. The gospel song. I'm trying to remember who sang it. I think it's a group. But if you look it up on YouTube, I Know Who I Am. I kept hearing that song in my head this morning before, totally saying, yes, I'm arisen, I'm awake. I am, the rain is falling. The rain just started falling. Isn't that awesome? So that is what I woke up to. So you have to be careful what you pour into your mind, even before you go to bed, so that, you can wake up with that type of thing, positive energy. Because I went to bed repeating out loud, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus, thank you. That's what I was saying while falling asleep. I didn't even know when I fell asleep, but that's what I kept saying while I'm lying in my bed. Thank you, thank you. I can't tell you when I fell asleep. And to wake up this morning with hearing that song, I Know Who I Am. I mean, I'm filled with joy, seriously filled with joy. I am thankful. So I'm thankful to see you, yeah?
It puts you in a good vibe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. That's why that's why the devil, I mean, he hangs around, he tries. He tries, and I tell him, bring it on. Yeah. Yeah. I might be too busy hanging with the Lord to take him on, but and I tell him that I'm like, hold up, I'll schedule you in for a certain time, but not today. That's what you gotta do.
That's how you gotta handle it.
Yeah. I'm not saying you wouldn't be tempted, because once you are a follower, you are going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted. But it's a joy, living the life on a spiritual path. So I want to thank you for being a young man who have recognized that early and trying and pushing to empower others to do the same. I really, really am inspired by your work and what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.